Before we get into the video, I want to make this clear. This will be the last. This has to be the last that I made a video surrounding the topic Wuthering Waves is greedy for the collab or the players outraged because the collab is not as good as they expected. I wanted to stop this earlier, but there's a real good reason why I want to cover this at all. I wouldn't make this if I don't think I should. Again, before I start, this will be the last, okay? Because for my next video, I need to make an announcement, and it's very important because some of you will be okay with it and some may not like the idea of this video and might even unsub to this channel immediately. Although, I hope the decision that I will be making is respectable, but I will leave that up to you. Hey, I know you have seen a lot of these posts going around in Twitter or Reddit that players are calling out the people that has converted their asteroids into Radiant Tide, the usual limited pools for Wuthering Waves. Well, guess what? I cannot even find these kind of posts anymore because in r/Wuthering Waves subreddit, they have all been removed. I cannot find a single. I took a screenshot of this because I sent it to my Telegram and then I want to open it, but I can't find it. So I screenshot in my Telegram chat because the picture of this still exists. I mean, you can tell from the Reddit logo, but this is what it looks like right now. Everything is gone, right? Almost everything that criticized the situation in Wuthering Waves collab, Aemeath collab, is gone. And as usual, I'm not really surprised because every single time you complain, stressed out, or criticize everybody's favorite game, they tend to ban you or flag your posts and even go as far as to prove you're wrong. That is how community works. But in this case, I also do agree that the method of converting your asteroids currencies into Radiant pools, into Radiant Tide, is kind of a bad choice and it is known to be a bad mistake. Nobody should ever do this because when you do pooling session, because when you pull for a character, asteroids will automatically convert by itself. Like you don't need to do the job of converting it manually. You can just use asteroids instead. Which is why like it doesn't make any sense to a lot of people. Why would you even do this? What if something were to happen? Because their last game, because Kuro Game's last game, PGR, they are also known for having different currencies when there's collab. So a lot of players do not sympathize for players that has converted their pools. And some would even go as far as to humiliate these players, making fun of them, pretty much try to bully them out of the community, isn't it? And that's where I draw the line of thinking, okay, yes, this person is doing a stupid choice in the first place, but they do not deserve to be made fun of or being called names. So what led me into talking about this? Well, I saw this one post in Twitter. Again, Twitter is cancer, all that stuff. I don't like going to this place, but at the same time, this is where all the information that I can gather, and I can't really find anywhere else other than Reddit and Twitter. Now let's get through this. First off, this person is from JP, right? I've been a fan of Aemeath and heard about the collab, so starting from last summer, I've been steadily saving up bit by bit, but I ended up exchanging most of it for that gold spinal wave, which is the Radiant Tide. And so what this person is trying to say is that every single time they gain asteroids, they just immediately convert it into Radiant Tide. I genuinely do not believe something like this could happen because who would do such a thing? Who would try to convert their original currencies into limited currencies immediately so soon? I know some people would do that, but it's just so uncommon to do it all the time. Because it's weird. Again, they automatically convert when you want to do wishes. Now let's continue. I had no idea it was gonna turn into a dedicated stone, which is the new currencies for the collab or whatever. But isn't there some way to fix this? Now, there has been posts lying around where they call customer service, they chat with customer service and ask for help to return it back into asteroids. Now, I don't have the photos for this, but there are people that are trying to revert back their currencies into original asteroids. Unfortunately, that is not possible. And I do believe they don't want to help you in the first place because this will lead you into spending. And it will force you into spending money. And Kuro Games have the right to do this as well, unfortunately. Because at the end of the day, you will be using those limited pools into something that is not for the collab, into actual limited characters. Now let's read this a bit more. I've sunk 320 hours into it and dropped some cash on Gacha too. So this person is also a spender. And I do believe every single spender in this game, they do deserve, they have rights to complain, they have rights to ask for help, not to be made fun of. But it's brutal that this can't be used. And obviously the EN audience try to mock him because they have made a bad choice on their own. It is on them. You can only blame the consumer when it comes to this because nobody is telling you to convert it in the first place. And now let's read into what this poster is saying. A Japanese guy had been saving pools since summer 2025, one whole year. He spent so many hours converting all his asteroids into Radiant Tides, only to later find out that the collab will use a different currency. We got into that already. Some people said it's on you. Mostly, the EN audience, unfortunately. But many JP WuWa fans came together and said the company was not clear from the start. Very true. Wuthering Waves could have let people know a lot sooner that they are gonna be using different types of currencies for the collab and try to hold you back from converting your asteroids into Radiant Tide. But instead, Wuthering Waves say, we will let you know in the last minute when there's only 1 week left for you to save up. obviously they won't have enough time. Now again, do you think these people can even go as far as 160? Obviously, that will be impossible within a week, unless you spend. So players like this that have done this sort of mistake, I sympathize with them, okay? They actually have to spend if they want to play these characters at all. They cannot get Lucy unless they got really lucky, win the 50-50 as well. But if they're not, they just don't get her. And not to mention, to even play these characters in the endgame contents, you need to have their signatures as well. And there's no doubt these characters will just be completely useless other than the overworld. What's worse is that this person is not even alone in this, okay? I've seen so much. I've seen way too much. People have shown that they have converted into 200 sits, into hundreds of radiant tides. They let us convert currencies, I'm sure. Gachas usually do that, right? Obviously, this time around, not so much. They do want to earn money. Why is the corals being nerfed in the first place, right? They are basically saying straight to your face, they want to make money. So much money in this collab. There is no way they will even bother to revert back your pools into asteroids. That is an impossible task right there. You can't even be bothered to contact customer service for this. Now I want to talk about this more. I worry that the posts in Reddit will be flagged or removed as well, deleted. So I decided to screenshot everything, including the comments. So why don't we give it a try and read the whole thing? In defense for those who did convert their pools. I made a post earlier saying that you should never convert your pools. But after thinking about it, that kind of mindset is unfair. We should not ridicule or chastise those who did convert because if anything, they did not know. Again, it's true, Kuro could have given the information ahead of time. Think about it. Even though we have PGR to reference with their collab, how does the general populace know that before it was officially announced? Don't get me wrong, it should never be a good idea to convert pools, as was said many times already, because that is your raw source of income. But I don't blame anyone for being under the impression that the collab banners were going to use that currencies. Like I said, tens, hundreds, maybe even thousands of people decided to convert their currencies way back already. And that is when I start to think, I kind of feel bad for these people. There's a lot more than I thought. And not only that, these people also try to reference some sort of collab from other gacha games because a lot of people are casuals. They don't play into this tribalism nonsense, okay? They just think all gacha games are the same. They will most likely think that these gacha games follow the same rules. And that is why calling out these players that convert their pool currencies, it is kind of unfair. We're not even in their shoes. Let's continue moving forward. After all, gachas using different currencies is not rare but also not common. Kuro is the only one that seems to do it, and if we're comparing this off of a previous big name gacha collab, at least they had the flexibility to keep currencies the same on collab banners. Now I believe they are talking about HSR right now, where you can still use the limited pools, the limited currencies, and switching it into the collab currencies or something like that. I'm not really too sure, but you guys can confirm that for me. The 50-50 and the accumulation rewards would not be as bad if we could use our currencies, and I honestly think Kuro should take the L on this one. Oh boy, you know for sure that the comments are not gonna like that. The community is not gonna like when somebody tried to call out their favorite company, their favorite multi-billionaire company. And you know full well, we will look into the comments later, there's gonna be people defending it. This is potential money that they will not get because they decided to be extra greedy, nickel and dime their players to an absurd degree. The whole nickel and dime thing, I really believe that the coral situation is one of the worst way. You should never try to reduce the player's potential into getting their rewards. If you want to make some changes, you have to make a better change. Instead, this is gonna give you a bad reputation. And sooner or later in the future, players will no longer have the full trust towards you that you will be giving a very fair and rewarding collab. Coming into the future, the players will most likely lose those expectations, or even have any hype at all. Now, if you're a whale, then this argument does not pertain you. Of course, whales are still gonna whale, spenders are still gonna spend. That's always been the argument. That's why talking to them is like talking to a rock. You will never get through to them. They will still continuously try to spend. But again, it's a gacha game. As always, I try to mention this all the time. I know even if you try to send a message, CN players don't try to listen and it will never get through their heads. And it is what it is, which is why it's never gonna change. Let's continue. You'll be getting assists regardless. Yeah, for the whales. However, for us, majority of us players, I completely understand if the whole way this collab gacha has been handled makes you skip it in its entirety. And I have seen a bunch of that in my comments as well. A lot of players are refusing to participate in the collab at all. They don't even want to bother with Lucy or Rebecca. Maybe getting Rebecca for free, yeah, but they're not even gonna bother having their sequences or getting their weapons. They just rather get this character for free and get this over with. And I think to myself, that is such an unfortunate position this collab is in. This is supposedly to be a celebration for both the company and the player base. Now let's continue. If you are playing only for the content, that is understandable. And I said this many times as well. The content, the entirety of the collab, except for the gacha system, everything looks so polished. It looks amazing. The character designs, Kuro nailed it. Okay? There is nothing to complain in terms of the content for this collab. It looks great. Nobody hates it. The gacha system is just a bit flawed. So if people don't spend, then you don't get the quality content that you expect. I will still believe that players will still enjoy the content that will be given. This does affect you even if it's in a very small way. If Kuro becomes greedy, that chases off potential customers, and thus they make less and therefore give less in quality. I think Kuro deserves money for the level of effort they put in this collab. Kuro does deserve the praise for the result in this collab. The results look so good, and I can't say that enough. It does look amazing, but I do not support the way they execute the system. Exactly. It's a very mixed bag, which is not something you want in your very first collab. What's sad is Kuro could have solved all this just by allowing players to just convert their gold pools to red pools. They'll be making money either way, but now they could lose customers because of this. Again, gacha companies are not your friends, so it's okay if we get a little selfish and backlash against this and all that stuff, right? We understand the whole situation. This is a company, not your friend. This is a gacha company. They're here to make money. But I also want to mention that without the players, this company will not make any money at all. So you have the control. You could actually make some changes. But I'm sure you guys can't resist pulling for assets, Lucy or Rebecca, because that is just human greed in nature. Something else to add, I get why people are asking why convert to character pools when we also have weapon pools. Realistically, you only need one weapon. I don't see the reason to R6 a weapon at all. So people who converted to Radiant Ties probably wanted to assist the character. Now this is something that has been going on with the argument in my comment section as well, that Lucy and Rebecca are limited characters, are collab characters, but because they have zero potential of returning again, these characters are meant to be weak. They are not going to be doing enough damage at S0. You meant to get them, but you also meant to just drop them afterwards anyway, because they are more characters to be sold, which is why they lock the potential of the collab character of being strong on S3. And this is where I think, okay, players are not trying to get to S6. They are trying to be able to play their favorite character comfortably. And unfortunately, that comfortability is locked behind S3 and also their signatures. So this whole thing requires you to have a lot of pools saved up, which is why these people with their corals, not being able to convert, with their gold pools, not being able to convert to red pools, and they only have remain of 0 S-tries or a couple hundred S-tries because of that. It is an incredibly sad situation that they can't even get their characters or even make their characters do enough for the contents that we have. And as you can see right here, this person is only showing sympathetic emotions towards the people that has converted their pools into Radiant Tides. Is getting massively downvoted to oblivion. Right? Nobody cared. Nobody gave a flying fuck about these people, unfortunately. Now let's look into the comments what they're saying. Well, ignoring the collab, what if you converted and suddenly you need a weapon? They always try to find a way to defend. It is so weird. Now look, the weapon is always gonna be guaranteed, right? Which is why this argument is so bad. And people expect that the whole patch will at least give 80 pulls. And guess what? The gacha PD for the weapon is guaranteed, and also heart PD is at 80. You will most likely get it around 70. So you will naturally be getting the weapon when the banner releases. The idea was never a good one, especially in this game with different currencies for a weapon. That's not wrong, but again, you converted to the characters because you're planning to pull for sequences. As for the weapon, maybe, just maybe they are thinking that when the banner drops, they can save up throughout the whole patch and get the weapon later on, because the priority will always be the characters. They always try to find a way to defend this. It's crazy, man. This person is saying, I'm sorry, but using all your savings on your bank account and exchanging it for gift cards and expecting it to work in every store is just stupid, don't you think? Just keep your money and spend it whenever you need. Yes, unfortunately, it is a stupid choice to make in the first place, but most people do refer to some other gacha games, which also allow you to convert the limited pools into the collab pools. Sometimes something like this happens, and they thought they would do the same thing in Wuthering Waves, what is known as the most generous gacha games of all time to a lot of players. But for some reason, they can't hold a candle against so many other gacha games collabs. And that speaks volume what Wuthering Waves is trying to do. I'm not even talking about the solutions like to allow players to convert golden ties to collab ones. Personally, I don't care. I just find it funny when people blame everyone else but themselves when they willingly chose to convert. Because here's the thing. Sometimes you buy these bundles that Wuthering Waves made in their game. You buy all these bundles, and these bundles only have Forging Tide, Radiant Tide, the limited pools for the characters and weapon banners, right? But These are bundles. You expect the bundles to be able to use because it is something that you paid for already. You expect them to be used in the collab. But unfortunately, these collab have a specific pooling currencies, and you can't even convert something that you buy thinking you will be using that in the collab. You can't even use it, and that does sucks. What if you were in their situation? You bought the bundles, right? You bought the bundles, and then guess what? Those bundles are not able to be used for the collab. And all these bundles, they're not even S-rights. All of them have specific pools already, weapons or character banners, and you can't convert them. This game have two kinds of premium currencies. We got into that already. People are trying to find a way to defend Wuthering Waves for these specific currencies. We got into this already. I'm not going to repeat myself. They're not going to lose customers because of this. It's just EA and US players whining as usual, pretending this is going to make them stop playing. But when it comes down to it, they're still going to keep playing. Just look at EA complaining about the anniversary and droves of people saying they are going to leave, and yet they are not going anywhere. That is Gacha players, unfortunately. A lot of them do complain, thinking that the company will make any changes, but they don't. Because at the end of the day, the CN JP community is the only community that some of these companies will properly listen to. These communities have been so patient, and it's very understanding that why you would want to listen to someone like that instead of people that continuously complain. And EN players, you gotta admit, I complain, everybody complaining here, criticizing the game for their choices and mentioning how they could have done better. We always talk about these things, and meanwhile CN and JP players are very patient. And then the OP respond, I believe there was a post of someone giving insights into some CN comments on Bilibili who were discussing the matter, and even they were upset about how Kuro handled the system. Take that with a grain of salt, but if CN is also disgruntled, expect some extra pulls or something. And this person decided to say, I went on Bilibili to read the comments, and the majority of people are excited and are as phased by how the collaboration is handled. Oh my god, man, they always find a way. They always find a way to defend this company. The way they handle things is actually useful since they are not going on emotional doom posting. It's always like this. They always find a way to make EN players look worse and seem to glaze the CN or JP players for their excitement towards the game without even complaining or criticizing the game's bad mistakes or bad practice. There's nothing but glaze, okay? Everybody, I mean, you can read through this whole thing, but you can tell it's not smart at all. You are just locking yourself out of flexibility unless you never. It is not smart. It is quite dumb. But should you really just call their names and not allowing Kuro to make any changes at all? Like, this is an easy fix. In all honesty, this can be fixed, but Kuro will not allow that. That's pretty obvious. So I will just continue to scroll this, and it looks pretty bad on the people that have converted their pools. And there's no turning back. There's no turning back, and players have clearly accepted the situation. Now, the next topic I want to go into is the corals. I'm tired, boss. Anyone still got the will to go all in? Now, I went into Lucy mains instead of Wuthering Waves subreddit because everything is gone. Leftover scam corals can be converted to Afterglow corals. Now, before this, I thought to myself, like, yeah, it's just Afterglow corals at the end of the day. It's not so much. I'm sure a lot of people don't mind not being able to use them. Turns out I was wrong. Some players out there, they have something like this. How much those Afterglow coral allow them to get their character sequences. Even if Kuro games allow you to use Afterglow corals, they still have this 480 elusive corals you need to get to unlock the shop for the wave band. You still need to unlock that. Then you can use the corals. How can you defend this? There's no other words to say this other than Kuro game is being greedy, and that's all you need to know. And this person right here, they could have gotten 2 sequences immediately after getting Lucy. Or maybe they don't want Lucy and they can just immediately snatch their Rebecca sequences. Something like this is what Kuro Games is trying to avoid players to do. And then you see more of these people saying that, hey, at least I'm being smart enough to not convert everything. I may have convert half of my pool currencies into Radiant Tides, but at least I didn't convert everything. So this person still have the potential to get like S3 Lucy or Rebecca. So I guess that's cool. But yeah, this is the situation we're in right now. And all I can say is that I'm very sympathetic towards the people. And I'm very sympathetic with this person right here as well, who is in my comment section saying that, honestly, I saved up for a whole year. After hearing about the announcements, I was so hyped, always converting the J's from monthlies and Virgin Rewards into orbs immediately, right? This person, look, I feel bad. That is all I have to say. I feel bad that there are actual people that after they got their S-rights, they just immediately convert them into Radiant Tides or Forging Tides. Just because I guess they like the logo, I guess they like the symbol. and they don't like Astrites looking all that much, you know. Maybe it's just that, but still, there are a lot of people that are doing this, and I don't see why not, you know. I don't see why not Kuro Games give a helping hand here, other than, yeah, we're not gonna allow you, because or else if we allow that, we have to allow thousands, millions of people that also want the same thing, and that's just bad business. But yeah, that's about all I have to milk out of this situation. I do not want to cover this situation again. This has gone far too long. And I do wish that Kuro Games will make some changes, actually, because we've seen some information here and a lot of people are complaining, and that one guy decided to say that, hey, also CN players do complain as well, so maybe they will make some changes later on when we get closer to the patch. I would like to see that change. Whatever the changes are, big or small, I hope it benefits the players. I just believe that it shows Kuro is trying to send a message. That is all. And God, I have made 3 videos out of this. I hope Kuro don't rig my pulls. My Lucy pools, and make me lose 50-50 and go hard pity all the time. Please don't do that. And I hope to God that nothing is rigged and I can get lucky at least once or twice. And I also have a little confession I want to make here. I know my videos aren't that good, and I know I don't have a lot of views in my channel, and that's okay. But ever since this whole drama started, and I made 2 videos and now 3, and it has been doing so well. It is doing so good. Yeah, I don't earn that much subscribers, but at least you guys are actually watching my videos and you are actually paying attention to it, which is so nice. You know, it is amazing that the drama is much more irresistible to a lot of you than content surrounding the story, where I have a bunch of jump scares. Like, it is doing terribly, but like, I don't really care. It's just crazy that a drama video does this well, and I'm kind of worried because the next video after this is not covering a Wuthering Waves topic at all. It's not covering a Wuthering Waves topic. It is avoiding every single tribalism topic in the gacha space right now currently. It is just that one certain game situation that I'm in right now, and it's probably not going to be as entertaining to you than this drama that has been going on for almost a week now. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope that I get to see you on the next one. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye bye.